Alright, I'm back here with part 4 of my stealth drone build. I'm going to go ahead and install my Vampire Durafly. This is the 1100mm. It's off the 70mm EDF jet. You can get these from Hobbyking. Just look under planes, go under Durafly, and these are the replacement retract set. Like I said, it's for the Vampire 70mm EDF jet. Alright, now when you get the retracts, I went ahead and shortened the rear lengths. And all you do is there's 2 set screws on both sides of the retracts. And as you can see, this will slide right off. Now when these retracts come, the tire comes angled like that. It's supposed to fold in. But I'm going ahead and turning mine this way to be even with the retract. I also went ahead and cut off 1/8 of an inch off the bar because I want the rear of the plane to sit lower than the nose. So you can go ahead and take this part. Like I said, cut off 1/8. You could even go 3/16. And I used my Dremel to just cut that off. I went ahead and cut off 1/8 on this aluminum bar. Here's my right side retract. And this will be for the left. Go ahead and tighten these back up. Make sure it's nice and centered. Just go ahead and cut off 1/8 to 3/16, guys. Doesn't have to be no more than that. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get these installed. On my transmitter, you can see some of the mods I do to these. A little bit of hot glue on the trim buttons. Makes it a lot easier and to trim out while you're flying. My landing gear, there's landing gear up, landing gear down. And I just put different, these are just foam tires off microplanes. There's hot glue them on there, just so the buttons feel different, so when you're flying it's hard to look down. I mean, you'll lose orientation on your plane by looking down at your transmitter. So now it just makes it easier to feel what's going on there. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. On the front landing gear, when these come in the mail, this bracket here actually comes on the top. You can just simply unscrew it, flip it down to the bottom, then screw it onto the bottom. You might have to notch out a little bit for the 2 screws in the front here. Just take a razor knife and scrape away some of that plastic so you can get those screws down through there, because this is going to mount on the bottom. So I'm going to get into mounting these landing gear. Alright, so here we have our right side retract. I'll go ahead and unhook this nose. Here you can see I went ahead and did some of my wiring already. I just use zip ties around my wires. And then the end of the zip tie I cut off and then poke it into the foam with some hot glue. It's a nice way to secure your wiring inside the jet. On my ESC I just used clear Scotch tape on the back of it. Apply it to the back of your ESC. Same with my light, afterburner light set here. And then you can hot glue it down to the foam, and that way when you go to tear your plane apart you can just take and peel it right off and pull the tape with the hot glue. Very simple. Alright, so I'm going to install one of these retracts. Now installing these, we already have our cutouts here. What you're going to want to do is just push it through. Just like that. Same thing for this side. Make sure it's all the way to the back. Push it through there. I like to install them with the retracts already folded up. Alright, so now I'll just raise them up a bit now that I already pushed them through the foam. Now this is the easiest way I found to install retracts to foam board. I just got a bunch of popsicle sticks here. You got some longer ones and some shorter ones. I like to use the shorter ones on the bottom. I'm just going to hot glue them on here like so. Let's go ahead and do that right now. Now you can hot glue these or you can use foam safe glue. I'm just going to go ahead and use foam safe glue. Make sure you butt it right up against tight to the retract. What this is going to do is we're going to sandwich the foam board in between the popsicle sticks. Let's see what I'm talking about as soon as I get to the top here. Get these pieces on. Again, I'm just using foam safe glue. You can use hot glue if you want. And this works great too because you can actually remove the landing gear to paint the jet. Now I'll push my retracts down onto them. Now I'll take and flip this over. We're going to want to do the same to this side. I'll go ahead and apply some foam safe glue. I like to use the little popsicle sticks for the outside here. Then for this inside, you can use the longer ones. So I'm going to go ahead and use the longer popsicle sticks on this side. Just adds more strength. here. And then again a short one on the outside. Make sure you butt it nice and close up to the retract. So there's our rear retracts. Here's my little base I made. Like I said, you can use these foam cups, just hot glue them onto a piece of scrap foam board. That way you can work on your jet. Now I went up to the hobby store. I picked up these little 1/2-inch screws. The ones that it comes with, I think they're like 1/4 inch, but I went up to my local hobby store and I bought some 1/2-inch, along with some little washers. And I'm just going to screw these right through the retract. Let's go ahead and drill these out though. Now all you do, guys, is you simply drill down through both popsicle sticks, top and bottom. Come back with my Phillips. And just go ahead and screw them right on through. I'm just going to set a couple of these so I can move on to the next part, which is installing the nose gear. I'll just do one side, guys. I'll screw this one on and then you do the exact same for the other side. Here I went ahead and taped my plans back together. This is where the front landing gear is going to be installed. Here's some of my other pieces. I already taped the foam board, the bottom fins, my tail fins, side canopy covers, top of the fuselage. We'll get to that in the next video. Alright, so I have that retract. You can see where the screw came through the popsicle sticks. So that way you're sandwiching the foam board between the popsicle sticks. And these landing gear, once they're on there like that, they won't come off. They're solid. Alright, I'm going to move on to the nose landing gear. Now what I like to do is just take the plans, lay them up here on the bottom. Nice and centered. Now just go ahead and push down hard with your pin. As you can see, I left a little indentation there, so it tells us where the front one goes. Now for the nose landing gear, as you can see, I put that's why I switched the mount from this side to the bottom. This one's going to be installed here. Just go ahead and center it over your marks. I'm just making a little reference point there. Now for the nose landing gear, I'll use 2 short popsicle sticks for the bottom of the jet, and then 2 long ones on the top side. Go ahead and glue these on. Just make sure your retract is where you want it. Make sure your retract's nice and centered. Now at this point, what I like to do is go ahead and drill down through. I'm only going to do one side for now. I guess I can go ahead and hit both sides. Just make sure it stays in the spot you have it. Now what that did was, it'll give me a reference point for where to put the other popsicle sticks on the top here. So now I'm going to take 2 long ones. And just go right over the holes that I just drilled through the bottom. Center them over there. Just letting those set up for a second, guys. Let them dry on there. Alright, so now I go ahead and flip this back over. Then I'm just going to simply screw this onto here like so. So again, we'll take our screws with our washers. These are the 1/2 inch screws. Now that we got our popsicle sticks on the other side, I'm just going to continue these through. And like I said, what this does is the popsicle sticks, they sandwich the foam board between them. It works perfect. Make sure it's nice and centered. I just wanted to go ahead and do the whole build for you guys. Show you all the steps I take to do this stuff. And you can do this for mounting retracts on any foam board. Now in part 5 I'll show you how to hook up your steering servo for your nose gear. Go ahead and tighten all these down. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and do this other side. Figure I might as well just go ahead and finish them up for you. As you can see, it don't take very long to install them. I'll just finish this one up and plug in the retracts to show you how they work. 2 screws in this one. Put the rest of the screws in off camera. Alright, so there's our retracts installed. Like I said, you get these from Hobbyking. They're the Durafly Vampire 70mm. They're just replacement retracts for that jet. They're only like 29 bucks. That's why I use them. They're cheap. Or they're inexpensive, but they're good retracts. I have quite a few sets of them. Go ahead and plug in this retract. Alright, now we should be good to go. Alright. So there's our retracts installed. Now you can see why I took off 1/8 of an inch on the rear retracts. That way the plane sits up with the nose a little higher. Works awesome. Alright, now on part 5, I'll get into cutting out the top of the main fuselage, which is right here. Also, the front of where the canopy mounts, our tail fins. I'll end up cutting all this stuff off camera because it's all straight cuts, the tail fins and the bottom fins. Alright, so there's our retracts installed, you guys. Like I said, it works awesome for putting them on foam board. Alright, I'll get back to you with part 5, and I'll start installing the canopy and all that on the top of the fuselage. Alright, over and out.